I know you're listening. You're here because something isn't right. Something feels twisted, upside down. Things don't add up. Hello, human. Welcome to our twisted universe. Welcome back to our talk with Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen. In this episode, we continue our discussion about some of the different types of parasites and the symptoms they cause. We also cover mold and its effects on our bodies and even our minds. Back again, our Twisted Universe hosts, Christy and Joe, with our favorite co-host, Bob from Exit the Matrix on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's the battle.
What are the most common worms or parasites that people get and they probably don't know they have, but they might have like symptoms? I mean, what should they look for?
I mean, roundworm is really common, ascarosis, which is the large roundworm, and it actually looks like an earthworm that comes out of your pee. That one is really very common. Pinworms is hugely common, even in adults, and they say, oh, it's not, but it really is. I had pinworms, and they get into your bloodstream, and they're actually, when they get inside, they're thread worms. That's the difference. Thread worms can wrap all over your heart, your lungs. They cause respiratory issues. And tapeworms, surprisingly, tapeworms are huge, and they're really hard to get rid of. We specialize in tapeworms because I saw so many tapeworms in my DMs that I'm like, okay, well, hawthornberry and hawthorn, they don't like that. So we have hawthornberry and hawthorn in our tinctures because of that, because I've seen so many tapeworms. They say 3 out of 5 people have tapeworms and don't know it.
Now, how long can a tapeworm get? I've seen some videos of yours.
Really, really long, like 30 feet.
30 feet?
Yeah. And they can live for decades and decades and decades. I can't show videos anymore. TikTok is just on that. So there's one where like it was so long, it was like 59 feet or something like that. I mean, it was crazy. It was like the biggest tapeworm in the world or something.
Goodness,
They can lay 1 million eggs a day, and they have 46 uteruses in one of those segments. 46 uteruses. They can lay 1 million eggs a day if they want to.
This sounds like something from another dimension.
It
sounds like a H.P. Lovecraft type creature.
Right? That we'll all be unloading. Wait, and it's crazy because they hang on to the heavy metals and the spores. So if you've been exposed to long-term mold, they hang on to it. They like literally love it. They like bathe in it. They're all friends. And then spores are alive, right? Because that's like how they keep going and they multiply. And then so they just live in the worms. They live in the candida. They just hang out together.
That is nuts. So how do you get people to talk about it? How do you get them to be interested in hearing about it?
People love talking about it with me.
I know I do.
Yeah. I have a gift, I guess. So much so that our bartender, and I won't say her name, but our bartender and I started talking on the cruise, and she has a parasite. Yeah, she was talking about how she was losing some of her hair, and I said, "Hey, have you gotten your blood work done lately?" Of course, in my head, I'm like, "Don't say it, Kim. Don't talk about it. Don't, Kim. You haven't talked about it yet on the cruise. Don't do it." And she was like, "I did." I go, "Was your EOS high?" And she goes, which is esophils, and it's your body's indication in the bloodstream that you have fungus, mold, or a parasite, or all of them. It actually, if it goes above a 1, then you have to be like concerned. Basically, what's happening is the parasite, mold, or fungus are inside your white blood cell, and your body is attacking it, so it raises the EOS. in your blood, and that is an indication that you have a parasitic infection. So if you're going to get blood work, I highly suggest getting it over the full moon, because that's when your body is really attacking it, because it's waiting to kill off whatever is going on in the bloodstream. So it takes that and it gauges it. That makes sense. So she said, yes, I just had it done and my EOS is 8.5. And I'm all, girl, I'm going to send you a kit. I'm sending you a kit. Do you have any anti-parasitics on board this ship? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, let me give you all the protocols, because you need to take this for 3 to 5 days. And then you need to get on my kit, because we recommend synthetic. If you're going to do synthetic anti-parasitics, then you back it up with herbs. And she has been on the synthetic anti-parasitics for 5 days now. And she's like, I slept. I'm less brain fogged, but those are your indications. Those are your indications. So
I get labs every quarter because of my transplant. And when the EOS has been high, I ask about it. Anything that says it's outside the normal range, I ask the doctor about. Oh, yeah, that's nothing to worry about.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Why?
It's always high. Yes. It's real frustrating. It's really frustrating. Mine has always been high. I have labs. I have my records since I was born. Like, I can look back at every single lab I've ever done, because my dad was military. And when he was discharged, they handed my records over. And I was high on my EOS all the time. All the time.
Mine seems to go up and down, but still elevated. I'll have to watch it next time.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a lab since.
Oh, I just had some
like
a month or so.
We'll have to pull it up and look.
Ooh. Yeah, you guys can compare and see.
Well now.
So
I've had a lot of people tell me that they've compared and seen in it that's been better. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just wondering, do you think like any of the autoimmune problems could be contributing for parasites and worms?
I mean, I have gotten rid of a few autoimmune symptoms since cleansing, and mine were pretty severe. They put me into a chronic illness state where I wasn't highly functioning anymore, and my life, I started to deteriorate. So I do believe that a lot of issues that we have in our country are directly related to not cleansing.
That is, that's just so bizarre. I was like, inflammation, is that an indicator? What are some of the symptoms that you could think of off the top of your head that people might be experiencing that could possibly be linked?
Skin issues, psoriasis, eczema. You have grinding of the teeth, headaches, brain fog, fatigue, insomnia, because they wake up at 7 at night. So they keep you awake all night long, and then they make you tired because they're up partying. GERD, my GERD's gone. I no longer take any heartburn medicine at all. Vision issues. Some people say floaters. Like, I don't have floaters anymore. I believe a lot of that's inflammation with the floaters. I believe that it, presses, but they cause inflammation. Joint pain, hair loss, skin issues was a big one for me. I had really bad acne. Yeah. Anxiety. Like, I still have some anxiety. I mean, I'm always gonna have anxiety. I'm an anxious person, but like, I can function now. Like, I can go out into society and not be overly anxious. I'm trying to think. There's so many things. Lyme is an underlying contributed autoimmune from parasites. Usually parasites and Lyme are hand in hand. Mold and Lyme, they all hang out. If you have ever been diagnosed with, you got to do a paraphy kit. And then when mold comes out, I did multiple different mold kits. That's why I'm doing my own kit, because it was very confusing. Mold cleanses are very confusing. So, but skin issues is a really big one, because it can be contributed from parasites or mold or both. Yeah. IBS, chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, because they don't want to leave. so they make you not go poop.
It's if
It's like they have their hands on all the dials to completely control you.
Yeah.
It's,
Parasites control, mold brainwashes. Parasites control you, and mold brainwashes. I mean, think about when you take like psilocybin, right? You're taking like a fungus mold and it like changes your whole like wave pattern.
yeah.
So that goes in and it like messes with your mind. And then the parasites go in and they mess with your body and then they work together.
Is there a frequency related thing too? I'm just wondering.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Make me
Oh,
really
yes.
curious about that.
Yes, frequencies. So they have their own frequencies. I'll explain a little how frequencies work. So you know, like opera singers when they sing and they shatter the glass. Well, they're getting themselves to the same frequency as the energy of that glass, so it shatters. So the combination of the two. You can do the same thing with any frequency for anything. Headaches have their own frequencies. Parasites and mold have their own frequency. So you can actually go in. Now, what happens when you shatter it and it goes away? You got to swoop it up, right? You got to clean it up somehow. So anyone that does listen to frequencies, they really need a binder. Like it's really important to have that binder. But it there's so many different levels of frequencies. Pinworms have their own, aspergillus mold has their own, roundworm has their own, tapeworm has their own. They all have their own frequency in your body. So if you're able to go in with that frequency and go in and kind of shatter it, it just helps move along a cleanse as well. Z app is one of my favorite apps. It's free. Z-app. It's free. And you can just download it on your phone and just listen to it. And it helps move things along. I always recommend doing a main internal parasite cleanse, even when you're doing all of the additional things that are anti-parasitic. But yes, frequencies are huge. Qi Coils awesome. I use my Qi Coil. I really like the Qi Coil with my mold detoxing. It seems to have worked like the best for mold detox.
How does that work? Like what do you set it on? The Qi Coil.
So I for when I'm using it for like additional things like parasites, he does have a parasite option at this point on the Qi Coil, the Qi Coils. But I just turn it on to Z app and then I just pick which one I want. Like I'll be detoxing for over a year with Aspergillus niger. So I'll go in and I'll just put it on that frequency.
That's cool.
It also does the rife stuff within the Qi Coil.
Yeah. He has the Rife app. He like made that app. He does the Rife. I also use Healy, so I really like frequencies. I feel like they're just an additional support. Some people swear that that's like all they need, but let's be honest, it's just not. Like you need to have multiple things supporting you while going through this. Your body has been hanging with these things for decades. It doesn't know any different. So you're retraining your mind, you're retraining your body. You're really like, I'm going to take this and control this myself. You're not going to control me anymore. One more thing that I do whenever I'm ready for a cleanse is if I start feeling bad about myself, because that means I had small intestinal parasites. That's where my parasites live. That's where crypto lived. And it made me feel bad about who I was. So when I start to like not like myself, it's so weird because I really do love myself. But if all of a sudden I start not liking myself, I'm like, shit, it's time for a cleanse, right? Because that's my indication. I'm an emotional cleanser too. So, but that's my indication.
That's interesting. I mean, it's good to know yourself that well that you'd be able to, oh, all of a sudden you're having a certain feeling. I'm feeling some sort of way. And
yeah. They don't want you to be happy. They want you to literally be miserable because if you start getting happy and you start moving around, they're going to have to leave and they don't want to leave. They're smarter than us. They've always been smarter than us. We've been warned since Egyptian time to cleanse, to do these things. Like literally it's written on their walls, like worms and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was a thing, honestly, until a couple of people I knew and over the course of the year came up and were like, yeah, I found this thing. And I was like, whoa, that's so unusual. But two people I knew came up to me, and that was before we even started talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they might be a little bit more common than we think.
Yep. They make you pick people that you might not have ever picked. They make you do things. It's so weird. And they all kind of conjugate together in a sense. So
they make friends and unite.
yeah. And there's no coincidences with them. None. None.
That is so crazy.
It's fascinating and creepy at the same time.
I had a question, Kim. This is maybe taking it down a little side road, but you know, you guys have heard, right, how like you know, the WEF and the UN and all these organizations are, you know, really, you know, they're talking pretty seriously about wanting to insert insects into our diets more. You know, I mean, I know in Australia, Canada, parts of Europe, they got okays through like their version of the FDA to start manufacturing, to like start these insect like farms and, you know, manufacturing like facilities. And um I I question, you know, like how much more parasites and worms that's going to add into the human body for people that actually consume that. Because get this, um there was one day I remember last year at work. I remember I was getting ready, you know, start on my case at work, and I seen this little it was like a roach, you know, not a big old cockroach, but it was like a little one going across the ground. And I don't know why, I just like stepped on it, you know, and it was the craziest thing. Like this little black, like worm looking thing just started coming out of its body. And this
That's a
thing was
horsehair
huge.
worm. That's a
Yeah.
horsehair worm. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I mean, it was like, by the time it totally got out of there, I mean, it looked like that thing must have been wrapped up in there 100 times. I mean, I don't even
Yep.
know how that little tiny insect, like that big, had this big old long black worm thing out of it. And so, you know, I thinking about how they keep, you know, they're talking about how, oh, it'll be so great to add insect protein into our diets and all this. And I don't know. What do you think about that? Would that add a lot of extra parasites into the human diet if they were
Just keep
successful?
cleansing.
Yeah.
just keep cleansing. Because like, yeah, I mean, they're allowed to have so many bugs in our food. Like there's a provision online that you can go and look at. They're allowed to have this much. And, you know, I mean, if you want to go down the rabbit hole with it, like how easy is it to control? Think about it. Right?
Isn't it
We're all
weird how
feeling,
we're pushing so hard on that right now? You know, I mean, I
yeah,
realize animals, all that, you know, even vegetables can have worms too, but just this big push for insects, it's just blows my
yeah.
mind. I can't believe we've gotten to that point as a civilization where that's the answer to fixing the weather, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, it's the answer to fixing
Soylent
us because
Yeah.
what, Christy?
Soylent Green.
Soylent Brown.
Yeah. I mean, and what's crazy is like maybe this is what they're doing and we're waking up to it. I don't know, but you eat the meat that has contamination of cancers and parasites, and we eat that, right? Like we eat it and it goes into our body, and we're the best hosts. We're the best hosts. We are the best, especially in America, because we eat a sad diet, a standard American diet. That's what we eat. Sad. We get we get no nutrients. We get like our food is we get nothing. It's toxic. So yeah, I mean, we're easy to control. We're really easy to control. And when you add something in that already likes to control and we're all in the same society, well, I mean, that's pretty simple, right? Like you start to cleanse and you start to realize things and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. Like you look back at things, you're like, wow, that was so not me. That was so not me. Why? Because it really wasn't me. You know?
That is nuts. Toxo, will your Parafite kit get the Toxo?
So toxoplasmosis really does have a different way. You can start to cleanse the toxo out, but you really do have to see a doctor just because it has to be done in a different stage. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The first 6 weeks, at least. The first 6 weeks. And then after that, it really is treated like a normal parasite because it is. But because you're dealing with mental health part of it, which again, I don't have toxo. I've been tested for toxo because I had cats and like, I mean, I had crypto, like what kills puppies. I mean, you know, like it's so weird what we can have in our bodies, but I didn't have toxo, but I thought for a bit that I did because I am such a mental cleanser. Mental meaning like it is really mentally hard for me. Some people, they're physical cleansers. I am not. I am like, I should be in a padded room when I cleanse because I really just get angry. And it's because my liver's affected so badly from the Cryptosporidium parvium. But
Can
yeah.
you hear that, Ruckus? The kids?
Can I hear?
Kids?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a lot.
I
No,
was worried
All
because my
hell's
son
breaking
walked into
loose on the
room.
other side of the wall. We'll have to.
At this,
We our grandkids live with us.
Oh, okay.
8 and they're screaming like crazy.
sound like they're melting.
No, we can't hear it.
All right, sorry. All right, going back.
What were you gonna say, Bob? What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying sorry. My son like walked
Oh,
into
that's
the
okay, you
room
guys.
to go to. So, sorry if that interrupted
Not
anything.
at all. No. Literally, I can sit and talk about all of this for like hours. You guys know that. Like, I love talking about this because the body is so fascinating.
It is
So,
fascinating.
should we talk a little bit about mold? Should we talk about the mold? Can you tell I'm pivoting a little bit from parasites only on TikTok. Like, I want to talk about it all the time, but on TikTok, they don't like it. They don't like the parasites. I don't know what the deal is. Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's really not as big of a deal as like they make it. It's not like this is normal. Like this is a normal thing. They have anti-parasitics. So you literally go to Mexico and get for like $6. Like this is the thing. Like it's just not a thing here. And TikTok hates me right now. So I'm hoping when I start talking more about mold, it'll kind of go on a different path. And then all the people that are like a little bit behind me, like it'll probably help Bob to talk about mold, you know, on his Facebook page. Pivot from parasites.
Kim, I think it's the same reason that, talking about fluoride in our water is such a big deal because that's part of the control system. Maybe, how you were mentioning if they know that those insects can make you more docile and, and change, just the way you act and you think. Well, it's the same with that, if you were to like talk about what's in our water a lot, same thing. They don't like that kind of information being out, It's for your teeth. Remember that. That's all they want you to say. It's for your teeth.
Yeah, it's good for your teeth. It's good for you. It's good for you. Yeah. That's why we're all so healthy.
Yeah. If you mention about like, during a certain time in the 1940s, a certain group that actually put that in the water, to affect certain people. And then what do you know? Those same people were brought here and it's in our water supply. So I think it's probably along the same lines as that. That's probably why they don't want you getting that information out there. It's, it's part of the matrix, or it's one of the tools in the matrix they use.
It is. But I always have to act like, because I'm really careful what I say now, like podcasts, I'm careful because it's weird because I have a couple people that like, one's a stalker and she's on notice and like people are angry. They're very angry about this. It's an anger thing at this point. I'm just like, cleanse your liver, man. Because like
they might need a
mold. Like take a mold kit. I got one for you and I'll send it to you. I'll send you the kit for free. Okay. Like let's all be happy at some point. I feel like the only way I can ever say is I don't know why, but I totally know why. I totally know why. Yeah. I totally know that there's more to this than just, oh, they just didn't want us to know. But it's a fear thing too. It's like, okay, well, at what point do they finally come out and be like, oh yeah, we all should be cleansing like Mexico cleanses because we eat half of our vegetables are from them,
It's sensible.
Yeah.
So what do you got for mold? What's going on with the
Oh
mold?
my God. So now I have a little bit of a team that helps me, and it's quite fun because it's not just me. So I get like a whole bunch of brainiacs are now doing it with me, and it's kind of cool. But any mold can stay in your body, and you always want to do a parasite cleanse first and then mold second, because the parasites drop the spores and the heavy metals. That's why we did heavy metal with the parasite cleanse. And now we're going in and we want to clean all of the crap out that they dropped off. So you want your hair to grow back. So we have a kit, we have a tincture in there that's going to help with your hair growth, your skin, and your nails, because they've been severely damaged. Our mitochondria is super depleted. And that is a really big word that I foresee is probably going to become a little censored over the next year. Mitochondria. Why? Because that's what's making us all tired. That's what's making us all feel like trash. There's a blue dye therapy. It's M blue, but there's a real long name that you're not allowed to talk about online either, because it helps support your mitochondria. Mitochondria is really important for you to continue to heal. It's what makes us have the brain fog real bad. It's the powerhouse of the cell. So you think about the power plant of the cell, and when it's depleted, you've got no energy to do anything. And so that's really what the mold ease kit is about, is really coming in and wiping out all of the spores. So we've used like oils, but they're not oils. We're actually making them ourselves using tinctures and boiling like sunflower lectin, which actually pulls the spores out and deposits them. So then your binder goes in and cleanses them out, so that you are peeing a lot and you're peeing the spores out, but they're not getting re-ingested in your system. So we're marketing it as a mold kit because it is, but really it's for the mitochondria support that we all need from doing all of the things bad that we've been doing and all of the crap that's in the air and food that we're unable to support our bodies anymore. And it's just herbs.
That's amazing.
But mold, one of the three biggest signs of mold is, do you pee a lot at night? Are you getting up multiple times throughout the night? It's not your pancreas issues, like you're not having kidney issues. Literally it's mold making you pee multiple times at night because its spores are trying to get out of the body. That's a big one. You're never hungry. That's a huge one. If you're never hungry, that is one thing I notice. I would like, okay, it's time to cleanse because I'm never hungry. And just feeling angry all the time and not being an angry person, because it'll come in clutch, right? Because like the spores break loose from your body, and then they go up through your liver, because your liver is one of the final processes of toxins, and they live and hang out in there. So you use the specific herbs, which is like safflower and flaxseed, and you're trying to pull by sliding them out and then having them get out of your system. And usually, if you have a lot of parasites, you probably have some mold exposure currently, or you've had past mold exposure and your body just didn't recognize it.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure we probably do.
The wheels are turning in here.
And again, you got to live your life, right? Like you got to live your life. You just have to cleanse. Like you just have to go, okay, well, this is part of my daily routine now. This is what I'm doing every day or every month or every other month. Like just
it's a choice for me to eat, so I'm probably moldy.
Probably gonna have to get one of those kits.
Yeah, we'll send you guys one. We'll send you one. Well, and I know, like my husband, right? He worked in HVAC. He's an HVAC engineer. I know how much he was exposed. Yeah. I know he was so exposed, right? Because now he's got like major issues with his congestion and all of those things. So
yeah.
Thank God he's married to you.
Sometimes I wonder if he thinks, thank God.
You guys are a good team.
We are. We're a good team. He's good. He's funny.
I have one more question before we take you out. Can people pass parasites to one another?
Yes. Everyone should cleanse in the house. If one of you cleanses, everyone should cleanse. But if you have people in the house that are not going to cleanse, you should just cleanse anyway. Help your body get along with it, move it, help it along. But if someone has lice in your house, you're going to get rid of it. Like everybody's got to do it, right? It's the same thing. If one person has pinworms, they're just laying dormant in one of you where they're active in the other. So activity of any kind while you're cleansing should kind of come to a halt. You got to take a break from anything because you're going to share.
Pay attention.
Didn't think about that question. Dang.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness.
Giardia is a sexually transmitted disease, and it's a parasite, and it's found in our water.
And that comes from beaver, or how do you get it? I mean, the animal.
Oh boy.
I had a
God.
Oh God.
Should we the blooper reel?
Seriously though. I had a friend, she got sick and she said it was from a beaver poop in the water. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's too funny. Sorry guys.
Oh my God, that was so good.
I needed that.
Your delivery was so deadpan too.
Because you were so genuine.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Christy, they come from beaver.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That was real good.
My eyes are still watering.
That's hilarious. All right. So during your cleanse, for how long the duration of the 30 days we should abstain?
Do your best. Just do your best. Usually after like week 2 or 3, usually, it's okay. But
okay.
You've already exchanged things, right? So there's already been some sort of exchange because you're married or you're with someone. So, but if you cleanse, everyone should cleanse. Whoever you're with should cleanse.
Gotcha.
You preferably at the same time because they're like peels of onions. Like when I got tested, I didn't have roundworm. Jeremy had roundworm. Well, I don't want to catch roundworm. If I eradicated roundworm, I don't want it. No. So I know I had it at one point, but like when I got my stool tested, I didn't have it. But he didn't have crypto and I had crypto. He had Giardia and I didn't have Giardia. So it's like, I don't want it, right? And he doesn't want crypto. So we just were like, we're just not going to do anything until at least I get tested again. And then it comes back and he just had Candida. So like, we just didn't want to pass it back and forth.
Right. So given that, do you have a kid's kit?
So our kits are good for ages 3 and up.
Oh, okay.
And if you can get your child its own kit, that's best. It's best. But if financially, we know that this is all becoming expensive for people, and we really do try and keep our costs low. Like we've gotten hit with inflation. I hate that word, but we got hit with it. We're not passing it to anyone. Like we're just going to take the hit because we know it's going to pass. So we know that it's expensive out there. So if you get one kit for ages 3 to 10, you get a kit, you get an extra Parify tincture for the child, and then you share your kit. So one kit, one extra Parify tincture, and that's for ages 3 to 10. Then they can share. And we give instructions on how to share. We're also extremely active if you email us. We usually get back to you within hours, if not minutes. So we always answer our questions at Rogers Hood. Like I literally hired a team of people who love what they're doing and love helping people heal for this reason. But so kids, Sustain, if you have pinworms, Sustain is our pinworm tincture. And you can take that up to 3 times a day, even though it says twice a day. So if you have pinworms, increase your Sustain to 3 times a day. And same with kids. So if you're trying to treat pinworms with your kids, you should get them their own Sustain. That's why we say you should get your own kit for anyone. But yeah,
you know, until you're in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do our viewers find you?
Well, you can find me on Mrs. Rogers Hood on TikTok and Mrs. Rogers.hood on Instagram. We have a website, rogershood.com, where we sell the Parify kit. You guys have affiliate codes, so make sure you attach those. Yeah, that's where I'm at now. We're looking at a podcast ourselves at some point.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what it's going to be or how we're going to do it, but TikTok's takedown has kind of put us in like a different mindset of how we can get the word out, because I'm not getting it out there anymore with my 400,000 followers. I'm getting like 600, 700 views. I think yesterday I had like 6,000 views for 400,000 followers. It's so bad.
You've noticed a decline.
But yeah, it's weird. I think something's going on. And then Instagram, I'm pretty busy over there.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll definitely have the discount codes listed on the description for everybody. So if you want to go and get your own kits, and I definitely recommend them. Again, I've tried other cleanses, never saw anything, never had that experiences that we're having now. And this kit is the real thing. It's making changes, that's for sure. I can't wait to see how I feel in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. I'm excited. I always get excited, and I always check out people's skin. That's how you can really tell that it's working. Do like a before of your skin and then an after. And that's one of the biggest changes you're going to see, is there's a glow in your skin that comes back because it's healthy.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Bob, do you have any more questions?
No. As always, it's been a great time spending this chat with you guys. And Kim, you're awesome, and I appreciate what you and your team do over there, and enjoy talking to you a lot. So it's
Same.
good to see you.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.